Esther, yesterday in yesterday's lesson, we started the story of Esther, and Esther didn't have a father or a mother. She was an orphan, and her cousin Mordecai, an older cousin, he was like a father to her. He raised her pretty much. King Xerxes got really angry with his wife, Queen Vashti, I think it was Vashti, and said that she's not allowed to see him ever again. And so now he's looking for a new queen. And so they found, well, not found, but yeah, they found about 400 girls all over the country. And Esther was one of them. Her real name, her Jewish name was not Esther, but Hadassah. But because she had to hide her identity, she wasn't allowed to tell anyone that she was a Jew. She renamed herself into Esther. Let's see what happened. She was taken by some of the soldiers, taken to the palace where she's going to have the training. The training will take about 1 year, after which she would be allowed to see the king. Let's see what is happening. I'm continuing. Welcome, fair maidens, to King Xerxes' palace. By now, you no doubt know why you are here. You are here for one reason, and one reason only, to please the king. And we are going to spend the next year teaching you exactly how to look, speak, and act so that you might achieve that goal. Listen and learn, for one of you will hopefully be crowned queen. All that you need will be brought to you here. One of the girls says, or one of the servants says, just ask me or any other servant. And this mirror, what is it for, Shabnan? If you want to make yourself beautiful, you must be able to see yourself. Have you never stopped to admire your reflection in a pool of water? It is just like that. I have not, Esther says. Esther is very innocent. And back then, mirrors were not as, common as they are these days. I would, were I as beautiful as you. You must not only look pleasant, this guy says, but smell pleasant. The sense of smell is one of the most powerful of our senses. Yeah. So make sure you don't smell like sweat. Even for you, Haggai, his name is Haggai probably, that girl asks, I found that the power of scent comes not from the scent itself, but from the memory the scent evokes. For me, when I smell this lavender, my heart turns melancholy as I think of my dear sweet mother. But other men's thoughts may turn to something else. Let's see what the next page is. It's like the peacock using its bright feathers to attract a mate. The trick is to find the balance between getting attention and retaining your natural beauty. I think they're talking about makeup right now. If you approach the king without his permission, this guy says, one of the servants or caretakers, you will die if you just go to the king without being asked. You will die if he does not extend his scepter to you. And if the king calls for you, you will die if you do not go to him. What of Queen Vashti? Asks Esther. That was political. Make no mistake, none of you are Queen Vashti. You're really going to weave someone else's hair into your own? She doesn't have long hair, so she wants to use a wig. The poor girl they bought it from has no need for it, she answers. With hair like yours, you'll not want any wigs or extensions. You lucky brat, they say to Esther. Too bad they couldn't buy your hair for me. True beauty, grace, and warmth, not just sensuality. Truly, I believe only one of you here knows what I am talking about, although I think she still doesn't know that she knows. Why are some of the women putting on powder, which is makeup? Dear Esther, every woman does what they believe will make them beautiful. For many, it means creating a mask to cover their true visage. You, my dear, need no mask, right? That's what makeup is for, to make you look more beautiful or attractive, right? Other women will choose to wear more revealing dresses that could suit your physicality, Esther, but not your personality. Hey guys, so many women are far more beautiful than I. Why are you taking such an interest in me? You do not understand, dear Esther, and that makes you all the more beautiful, he answers. You may ask for whatever you want to use when you are summoned to appear before the king. However, I suggest simple jewelry and ornaments and makeup that will accent your beauty, not cover it up. Just follow my instructions, not the advice of those vain hens who, Esther, somebody calls her, and that of course is Mordecai. Esther, dear Esther. Who is that? He's Mordecai. He works at the king's gate. He's my cousin. Esther, you cannot see him. The king is very jealous of his women, and you are essentially one of his wives now. I haven't seen him for almost a year since your people took me, but Mordecai adopted me, raised me, protected me, and I am to protect you now. That's the beauty of it. You'll still be with me. Oh, Mordecai, my dear cousin, Esther says. They said a man came to the harem gate every morning asking about me. I knew it was you. Are you well? I am. Haggai, the eunuch charged with caring for us, has taken a great interest in me. He has given me 7 serving girls and the best place in the harem, and I have done what he has asked of me and will continue to do so. Her year of preparation is finished. She will be summoned to go before the king soon. Oh, Esther, do not be afraid when you stand before the king. Just remember what I have told you. I am not alone. You are never alone. When the time comes, I know you will let your true beauty naturally shine, like the star that you are, Esther. And now, finally, after 1 year of preparation, Esther is about to see the king. And this is the king. Of course, he looks handsome here. What makes a very good romantic story? 2 beautiful people, that's all you need, right? The king recognizes you. See, he extends his scepter. It means that she can come, she can approach him. Lucky for her. Otherwise, she would be killed. The king recognizes you. Come forward. Esther comes forward. And who might you be? My name is Esther, sire. You need not feel ill at ease, Esther. I've not seen a beauty such as yours since you need not feel ill at ease, my lord. Come, Esther, let us dine together. My chefs, not chefs, but chefs, right, have prepared an exquisite meal, the likes of which none who lives has ever tasted. Was everything to your liking? My king, I thank you for the kindness you have shown me in giving me this wonderful meal. And I thank you, Esther, for the kindness you have shown me in sharing this meal with me. This whole evening has not been what I expected, my king. Our evening is just beginning. There are some birds at the other end of the garden I wish for you to see, and yet I cannot help thinking their beauty is nothing compared to yours. And I can't help feeling that perhaps one evening together will not be enough. After a while, she's back with the girls. And this is why I was glad to be chosen for this. We now, as part of his concubine, will have all our needs met. We're no queens, but this life is still good. This is not the life I expected, says Esther, or even the life I wanted. What did you expect from your life, child? You really expected more than this out of life? I just hoped to grow old with the people I loved, maybe raise a family. You're one of the king's wives now. We're your family. Esther, there is no time to lose. Hurry, somebody calls her. What is it? The king has requested your presence. Come, Shabnan waits in your quarters with the gown I have selected for you. The king? How? Her? He's calling her back? He hasn't called anyone else back. Yes, the king has called her back. I don't suppose you know why I've been summoned here? It's okay, no one else will tell me either. The king recognizes Esther. Come forward. Esther, says the king, welcome back. Your Highness is gracious in asking to see me. Oh, I do not merely wish to see you. I wish to give you something, Esther. Many women have been made my concubines and my wives, but there is only one woman I wish to be my queen. Dun, 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 dun. He puts a crown on her head. I present you Queen Esther. Now we will have a banquet in honor of my new queen. The nation will celebrate with us. Come, Esther, let us dine together. My chefs have prepared an exquisite meal, the likes of which none who lives has ever tasted. Again, says Esther, I do not know if I can handle 2 such meals in my lifetime. I'm gonna get fat. And that's Esther over there wearing a crown. We're going to stop on this part of the story today. We will continue. It's not over yet. Let's read the lesson. Any hands are up? Let's take a look. Did you like the story today? It's fun, isn't it? Yeah, it's fun. Esther is the queen now. Hitash, will you read the first part, please? Atara, the second part? Okay, since you have it.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Esther becomes queen. King Xerxes had ordered the officials in his empire to find the most beautiful women in the country and bring them to his palace. In the city of
Susa.
Susa, Esther was one of the chosen women. She was brought to the royal palace where she and the other women were given pretty clothes to look good for the king. Meanwhile, Mordecai, a cousin who had adopted her, advised her not to tell anyone that she was Jewish. Everyone admired Esther, and when the time came for her to be presented to the king, he liked her more than any of the other women. He fell in love with her. He put a royal crown on her head and made her queen in Vashti's place. The king gave a great banquet to honor Esther, declaring a holiday and hand out gifts.
That's right. This word is women. One woman, many women. Plural is women, not woman. Okay, women. It's pronounced in a different way than it's spelled. One woman, 2 women. Women. That's how you pronounce it properly. Atara will read it for us now. Can God use me for great things if I am just ordinary? Because Esther was just an ordinary girl, but now there's some great things that are awaiting for her. Let's read.
And God used me for great things if I am just ordinary. Esther grew up as an ordinary child. In fact, her people had been brought to Babylon as slaves, and she was an orphan. God often uses ordinary people rather than great people whose hearts are filled with pride. Jesus said, "For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted." Luke 18:14. Do you remember how God used ordinary people like Joseph, Gideon, David, and Daniel to do great things for him? Esther may have thought about the message that Jeremiah had sent the people in Babylon. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11. For years, life had been hard for Esther, yet God had blessed her and put her in a place where he could use her to bring hope and a future to his people.
That's right. Let's read the verse for today together. Ready, go. Brothers,
Think of what you were when you
not
were
many
called,
of
not
which were
many of
wise
which
by
you
human
were
standards,
wise
not
by
many
human
were
standards,
influential,
not
not
many
many were of
were
noble birth, but
enthusiasts,
God chose the
not
foolish things
many
of
were
the
of
world to shame the
noble birth,
wise.
but God
1
chose the
Corinthians
foolish
1,
things
26
of
to
the world
27.
to shame the wise. 1 Corinthians 1, 26, 27.
1 Corinthians 1 26 to 27 verse.
That's right. It's a very interesting verse. It says, God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, because oftentimes people consider themselves wise, but when you compare God's wisdom and human wisdom, it's just, there's no comparison, right? And those who trust in God, sometimes people laugh at those who believe in God. They say, well, there's no God. There's the theory of evolution. We come from monkeys. And that is considered human wisdom. And God's wisdom is just, it's simple. God created us. And sometimes people who believe in God are laughed at and mocked. But God chose those who appear foolish for the people of this world who do not believe in God. God chose you and me. And at the end, those who didn't believe in God, they would understand the truth, and they would understand that they missed the chance. The lesson today was not about that. The lesson was that you're not ordinary. As long as you're faithful, as long as you trust God, and as long as you always do your best, you will see how God is going to use your life. He's shaping and molding you. And at the end, after, let's say, 20, 30 years, you will look back and you will see how beautiful your life actually was. It seems ordinary when you live it, because for you it's ordinary, there's nothing special happening. But actually, every day is a miracle. We're living, we're surrounded by miracles that we do not notice, because it's just ordinary. It happens every day. But as you look back, you will realize that it was all, God's wonderful provision, his will, and his blessings were all around you at this time. You will realize that in the future. Same thing happened for me too. I just lived, I was born in the country that doesn't exist anymore, in the Soviet Union, in the country of Uzbekistan. And I thought that my life is just a boring life, ordinary life, nothing special. But as I look back, I realized that there were a lot of things, that were blessings that I didn't recognize as blessings. I didn't know that they were blessings. For me, they were ordinary. But for billions of people around the world, those kind of things don't happen. Same thing for you. As you live your life, you will realize that it was beautiful. You will not see it now. You will see it later. And maybe then you will remember that I told you so. Let me stop the recording.